to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I am Robert Gatewood, your host. If it affects my stakeholders, it affects me. Over at Amazon, the bots are doing the firing. Man, they got a bot for everything now. If you have built your business model on one-off sales, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They don't have a better product than you. They just have better marketing. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm back. It's Friday again. Can you believe it? Where are these weeks going and days? Things are moving so fast. Slow it down. Welcome to another show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'm bringing you the good marketing gospel. Not saving souls, I'm saving businesses, saving jobs, trying to save our community, because our community needs a solid economic foundation. We need to build our own institutions, our own businesses, hire our own people, and definitely we got to go out here and build these successful businesses. Not just any business, we need successful businesses. Now, the good thing about a business is that that's an opportunity that's available to all. And I know some people don't have necessarily the mechanical skills to be a business owner, but everybody can do something to improve their economic lot in life. You can invest in stocks, you can become a partner in a business, you can buy a franchise. There's all kinds of ways to take advantage of this vast opportunity out here. We just have to do it. Some people say, Robert, I've been thinking about it, and what if I fail? What if I miss the mark? Well, one thing about failure, there's a 100% chance that you will miss the shot that you never take. Marinate on that for a minute. If you don't take the shot, there's a 100% chance that you're going to miss. So go ahead and don't be foolish about it. I don't want you to be careless, but go ahead and take that risk, because so much is at stake. Your future, the future of future generations. Legacy, our community. We need smart, intelligent, innovative people like you to step out there. And let's create these businesses and put our people to work and build that economic foundation that is so vital to the sustenance of our community. I'm Robert Gatewood, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. Hey, who died and made me king, right? Well, I don't know everything, but I know a lot about business and marketing. I've been at it for 30 plus years. I worked in corporate America for about 20 years. I was a buyer. I was a vice president of marketing and business development. I've been CEO. And now I'm currently CEO of Gatewood Marketing and Web, my own company. I'm also the founder and producer of the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College, where I teach marketing, social media, networking, sales, all things marketing. I have 2 books, Played in Full and Smarter Than the Boss. And I'm also a consultant for the Small Business Administration, working with companies in the 8A program. So yeah, I don't claim to know it all, but I'm gonna learn it all. I just keep learning, I just keep learning. And you can do this too. So go out there and take that shot. So what if you miss? What's gonna happen? Last time I looked, they don't lock you up. You don't catch a contagious disease and die if you miss. You pick up and do it again and again. You think I've succeeded every time? Man, let me tell you something. My first business was a payphone business. Woo, boy, there was all kinds of stories in that. If somebody had only told me, if that was just a Marketing Pulpit TV show back then, I would have saved myself about $20,000. Nobody told me about the industry life cycle, the introduction, the growth, maturity, and decline. Nobody told me that industry was in the decline. It was over. And so a little sucker like me comes along with a little money. I'm going to get into business. I'm going to make money while I sleep. Woo, boy, that was a lesson in that story. But anyway, folks, well, now you have the Marketing Pulpit TV show, and I'm here every Friday. I'm glad to share this information. I don't want you to make some of the same mistakes I made. So here I am. Anyway, we've got a great show lined up for today. Great show, great show. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about it last week, and we had these two great guests. We had Robin Roots from the Close Off Productions. She had this great documentary coming out, 2020, the year of the nurse. And we had William Maxwell of Idea Gear talking about his conscious-driven t-shirt line. So today you have me. I'm here to talk about branding, and we're going to also talk about what's happening in the news. We bring this segment, one, we want you to contextualize what's going on because we don't operate in a vacuum. These things that are in the news affect us, some more directly than others. We have to understand supply chain economics. We have to understand stakeholder relationships, and all of these things are intertwined. And that's why every Friday here on the Marketing Pulpit TV show, I bring you these news stories. And now we've made it even more interesting. We have a segment called Why is Everybody So Angry? War in the Workplace. That's right. We have hand-to-hand combat going out here, ladies and gentlemen. We have people on airplanes knocking out the two front teeth of airline stewardess. We have people leaning through the drive-through windows at the McDonald's, shooting up the staff. We have people doing all kinds of strange things out here. And you say to yourself, that doesn't affect me. Well, I beg to differ. We're going to talk about that coming up later also. But we got to talk about branding. We're going to talk about branding because I had somebody ask me the other day, said, Gatewood, I want to hire you to do my branding for me. Where do I get started? I said, you have already started, I hope. How are you treating your customers? Okay. How are you treating your staff? Okay. Are you making a difference in society? What kind of service are you putting out here? You're already branding whether you know it or not. The key is it the type of branding you want? You are messaging in every decision you make in your company. That logo that people claim to be the brand is just the iconic representation of the brand that you've already developed. So what I will help you do is one, identify what your brand is and how to make it better. Does the brand that you have already started represent where you want to be? If that's the case, we got to work on it. Well, today we're going to talk about some of the benefits of branding, some of the pitfalls, and how you can elevate your brand. And plus also we got to tell you what branding is, because many people just say branding, hey, that's your logo. Well, it's your logo too. But the logo is just the representation, an iconic representation of that brand. When you see those big golden arches at McDonald's, well, you know that represents. Hopefully fast food, good service, a cheap burger. The arch is not the brand by itself. It just represents. So when you see that arch, you know what it represents. And so we have to do that too. And I want to make sure that you are not the no-name brand. That's a losing proposition. I know some of you guys, you haven't spent any money on advertising. You say, how can I? Of course, I'm the no-name brand. Well, it's all relative. You may not be household name, but you could be representative. You could be known in your circle, in your industry, in your geographic area. So it's not an absolute. So we're going to talk about that coming up. So this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. Grab a seat, share this, grab somebody and say, look, Gatewood is in town. He's back on the air, and you don't want to miss it. So I want to say hello to a couple of folks tuning in there. Good morning, Brother Emmanuel. Happy to have you on the show this morning. Thank you. Thank you. And Brother Brown, thank you again for tuning in. One of the greatest plumbers in the land. And we'll be recognizing people throughout the show. If you have a comment, you want to join, you want to share with the audience, you want to promote your business, do a little shameless plug. Hey, that's what we're about here. We're about building businesses. We're about putting people to work. We're about business development. And today we are about branding. So let's get this show started. And also, I want to throw out another quick tip this morning. I was on social media this morning. Let me tell you something, folks. I have to do this every now and then to remind everybody who's out here on social media. Folks, social media is a tool. It's not your life. And don't get so caught up on what other people are doing on social media. Social media is a tool. Use it. Don't let it use you. It's not for showing off. It's not for bullying and beating down people. It's not for attacking people. It's not for being something that you're not. It's not for going out here and trying to help the homeless people only so you can get a photo op. You're sitting there filming yourself. Hey, look at me helping this homeless person. That's the wrong way to use social media, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to use social media as a tool. And as a business developer and as a marketing consultant, I'm going to tell you that social media is a great tool if you use it the right way. That's right. So let's put this social media in the right perspective. Let's stop being used. Matter of fact, we have some stories in our news today about how social media has continued to get people in trouble. Matter of fact, let's start out with in Washington State. They've told these cops, these police, that if you don't turn over your social media accounts, you might not get certified. As a matter of fact, we may just have to show you the door. So I want you to jump into this time warp. Let's go back and let's moonwalk back into time. Because some of you are just getting started in social media. Some of you just being introduced. Some of you just started to use it. But some of these police officers who are about to be either not hired, and this is probably one that's going to end up in the courts like everything else does. If they had only listened to Gatewood before, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, before they posted that racist comment, before they talked about somebody, before they made that threat, before they put that photo up there of half dressed, if only they had listened to Gatewood before that happened. Now they're probably saying to themselves, look, I'm a cool guy now. Don't keep me from being a police officer. I've mended my ways. But what you put out there is forever. Man, this lady, the judge from the wrestling match the other day, she got suspended. She's on there talking about calling Michelle Obama monkey face and said something about LeBron James. And now she's like a judge of the Boxing Federation. And they suspended her because of her misuse, her misdeeds on social media. So use social media for good, because what you do today may affect you tomorrow. It may not affect you today. It may not affect you next week. But people, I'm telling you this again. I'm going to keep telling this because I'm tired of seeing people blow their careers over some mistake they made on social media. Now, in these big chains, these big retail stores, trying to turn people into mask police hasn't worked out. I mean, think about it, though. You know, some little 18-year-old freckle-faced kid out here telling somebody to put a mask on. Some big burly man or woman comes up, slap the spit out of you. And what are the stores doing about it? Some have security guards, some don't. And even the security guards, they're like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. These folks have lost their minds. So what the stores are doing, they've decided they're not going to enforce these mandates. Folks, it is every person for himself now. So you have to make a decision when you go into these institutions and these stores. Mask up, put on 3 or 4 masks, but don't expect the stores to save you. I walked into the Safeway last night, and as soon as I walked in the door, there was this family. I could tell they were anti-maskers. I just knew it. They sort of didn't fit into the community look, the jive, the vibe just didn't feel right. They were right near the door, and they were kind of huddled, and not a one of them were wearing a mask. I'm saying, so now in Prince George's County, there is actually a mandate by the county that you must wear a mask when you're indoors. And so I guess they were just breaking the rules. But I'm not saying that to say, I'm not taking any position whether they were right or wrong, even though personally they were wrong according to the county. But you have to take responsibility for your own safety. I'm telling you, you can't expect Walmart to do it. Can't expect your job to do it, the place you live to do it. You have to do that, okay? Let's see here. And the friendly skies haven't gotten any friendlier. This little 13-year-old guy, they had to duct tape him to the seat for he was trying to kick the window out. So one thing, seems like they have to train now the flight attendants on how to do the little thing in them when you first about to start up. Put your mask on and how to your seat is a flotation device. But now they have to also give them a roll of duct tape, apparently, because this is the second incident where they've had to duct tape somebody to a seat because of misbehavior. So that seems to be one of the rules going forward here. Now, here's something that's interesting also. This return to work, return to the office. Man, these big companies, they just don't know what to do. Facebook has done an about face. Google, they've instituted a policy. Man, these big companies, they change their minds more than a groom at a bachelorette party. They're just not sure what to do. They're like, first of all, Facebook has said you got to come back to work. You got to be here. They've given like a date. Well, they moved that date back now. I think they moved it back to January of 2022. And I understand, Facebook. I understand what you're going through because we thought this virus was gone. Man, I was ready. I just knew when my family reunion came, which is in September of every year. Man, I was getting ready to get down some potato salad, some pie and cake. Man, I could taste it. Well, that seems that might not be the case. I think we're going to still try to do something virtual, hybrid, but man, I just knew this would not be an issue right now. So Facebook and Google, I understand. Google is even trying to institute a somewhat of a pricing thing where if you come to the office, you get a certain pay. And the folks that don't come to the office, your pay could be cut 15%. And I understand up to 25%. Well, let me give you my advice to Google and others who are kind of trying to determine how to pay people based on whether they're in the office or out of the office. It's going to get too complicated for you. There are too many factors as to why people can't come to the office. And it's like anything else, certain groups are going to be disproportionately affected in a negative way. So you're going to walk into that political, social, economic minefield. So what I think you should spend that time doing is trying to make it equitable so that the people who are not in the office and the ones who are in the office have some other kind of way to create that parity that you're trying to create. But tinkering with the pay, I'm just going to give you a heads up. Not going to work. Like I say, I'm not a know-it-all, but I've been out here for a while. Certain things just don't work. This is what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'm bringing you the good marketing gospel. And you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter. And you can find us on YouTube. And we're also on Venmo. Now, if you go to Instagram, you can find like the 1-minute blurbs from some of the shows. We might take some of the highlights and put up a 1-minute blurb. So you can go through there. If you have a short attention span, and you don't want to listen to a whole hour of Gatewood, I can imagine why not. But let's just say you do. Go to Instagram and just go to Marketing Pulpit. You can just catch these short blurbs, and some of them kind of funny too. You can catch the entire show on marketingpulpit.com. Right now, it's free to anybody. I say right now. And I've been checking out Facebook and Google and all these other guys. You might go there one day and say, look, hey, what's up, man? I got to pay to get in now? I'm not saying, but hey, you never know. You better grab it while it's free. Of course, we're on YouTube. We can also catch the entire show free. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe, join our channel. Appreciate that. That's one way you can support the show. Subscribe and share us with others. And let's see, where else are we? We're on Facebook, Instagram, Google, Twitter. We're also on Twitter. And so you can also, if you don't feel like remembering all these platforms, you're just an old schooler, just say, hey, what's the website? You can go to marketingpulpit.com and watch the entire show right there on the homepage, whether you have social media or not. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got to make this information accessible to all, because there's some things in life that are so vital, that are so important, that not being able to afford it, that's just not a good enough reason. So let's do this. Let's do this real fast. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about war in the workplace. Let's talk about war in the workplace. I talk about stakeholder relationships quite often. Stakeholders is anybody who has a stake in the success or failure of your business. And generally, these components, these ingredients work in concert. They support each other. We have synergy. They're like, freaking frat, working together. But every now and then, what we're seeing right now, we are seeing them come to blows, literally. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, you have to ground it. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. Welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I am Robert Gatewood, your host. I'm here every Friday. That's right. Set your clock every Friday for 10:30. You cannot go wrong. I'm telling you. If you're a business owner, why wouldn't you do this? Let me get into your head for a minute here. Information is free. The messenger has more experience probably than anybody in any marketing field. He's concerned about your community. Okay, I'm tired of promoting myself, but why wouldn't you? This is great. Great information, and I don't claim to know it all, and plus, the things that I tell you, these things have been tested. I have a board up here on the wall, probably got about 20 names on it, and these are clients. These are people I've worked with, and that list is constantly evolving and changing because I'm constantly bringing in new customers. And so the customers that come in, they're benefiting from the clients that have gone before. And you, by just sitting out here listening, you're receiving the same type of information at absolutely zero cost. So why wouldn't you do this? Thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. Now, I've started a segment a few months ago, and I thought I would end it because I said, well, at some point, people are going to just get tired. They're going to grow weary of acting the fool out here. I blame it on lockdown. I call it lockdownitis. People are just some just seem like they've lost their minds. And so I started a segment called Why is Everyone So Angry? War in the Workplace. And you might ask yourself, why? Because I also am a big proponent and adherent to stakeholder relationships. Stakeholders, these are people that have a stake in your business. These are your clients, your vendors, your suppliers, your partners, investors, contractors. But when they're out there fighting each other, killing each other, making life miserable for each other, we have to talk about it. Because in order for a business to succeed and to be successful, these components have to work in concert. There must be synergy. They have to work together. And so, war in the workplace is to help us understand, to analyze, to figure out what's going on. And one, so that you don't become a negative cog in the wheel, that you can be a positive force to bring us back to civility and out of this war in the workplace. Now, if you're in the DC area and you're an Amazon driver and happen to be black, this is going to be a tough day for you. DC police are looking for a shooting suspect dressed in an Amazon uniform. Man, like we don't have enough trouble already, right? And some poor Amazon drivers out here right now saying to themselves, wait a minute, this is what they're searching for. Described as a black man, medium build, and wearing an Amazon uniform. Folks, that describes basically every black Amazon driver. So good luck, guys, today. I just hope that the police use discretion and caution and don't jump to any conclusions. But I do hope they apprehend the person who's actually did this shooting, this dastardly deed. And it's really tough for the food delivery companies. Man, these DoorDash and Uber people, they're having a hard time right now. Well, this one driver says he left a note for a customer. She didn't give him a tip or not enough tip. And he wrote her a note and said, look, you think I'm doing all this for free? Now, of course, DoorDash, that's not something they condone. And he posted this video on his TikTok. And of course, I understand though, because if in the next story, receiving a tip would have been his last concern. Also in the Prince George's County area, a DoorDash delivery driver was fatally shot while delivering food to a home in Prince George's County. Now, this is in Mitchellville, Maryland, which is really in the same city from which we broadcast this show. 48-year-old young man from Nigeria was shot around 12:20 in the morning and died a short time later in the hospital. Now, I've made many comments about this experiment of having regular people doing some of these jobs that have been generally, historically reserved for professionals, like the Airbnbs, the Uber Eats, the DoorDash drivers, Uber, and so forth. I still think it's an experiment. And as people get less and less hinged, I think these experiments are being challenged right now. We've had stories about Airbnb. We've had stories about Uber constantly. Now Uber Eats, DoorDash. I'm not sure the society was actually built for these type of services. Or at least I don't think that we thought it entirely all the way through. I think we got to go back to the drawing board. Now we have a pandemic going on. We have we have all this racial hostility. We have political divides. And you out here putting these folks you've never heard of behind you in a car. And you get in a car sometimes with people who might be a little unhinged, as we've also talked about in some of the other stories. So it's not just the DoorDash delivery drivers. Also in 2019, somebody killed a Denny's restaurant driver. This guy just opened the door for a Denny's restaurant. He wasn't a driver. He just going into the store and somebody was robbing the place. He got shot. And of course, in DC, the famous story where two young teenage girls hijacked an Uber driver, flipped the car over, and killed the driver. So what's going on? I want you to think about this as you go about your day-to-day lives. Now, one customer, he said, I'm not going to put up with it. This man, he actually flew his helicopter to Dairy Queen to get him an ice cream cake. He said, I'm not dealing with these drivers. I'm not dealing with any of this madness. So, of course, he got arrested for an illegal landing. So, some people are trying to take matters in their own hand, which also shows you, man, sometimes you feel like this society will become a little unhinged. But just when people are starting to feel good about going back to the restaurants, here comes this variant again. Now, let me ask you, weren't most of you, some of you at least, was starting to feel like it's okay to go back to the restaurant? I know I was. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get back into Fridays or Carolina Kitchen or these other places. And like I said, like many people, we saw the first wave of COVID as temporary. And we knew by the time, we thought it was going to be gone last summer. We just knew it was going to be gone this summer. Well, here we go again. Now we have this Delta variant. And people are starting to pull back again. We're seeing like 50, we've seen like an 80% drop from the 2019 levels. Whereas a few months ago, it was 10% above the 2019 levels. Now, why we talk about this? I also want you to think about, we talk about supply chain economics often on this show. These things don't happen in a vacuum. If it's affecting the restaurant and you are in the supply chain, the down line or the up line, it affects you too. That's exactly right. It affects you too. I want to say hello to some folks tuning in. Good morning, Brother Bradley Thomas, one of the greatest attorneys in the land. Glad that you could join us this morning. Good morning, Lisa from the dance team. Glad you could join us today. Thank you for tuning in. Brendan Lee, the model. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have a great audience this morning of people tuning in. And this show has gotten so popular nowadays. I'm telling you, we actually had to do an overhaul because we got a lot of folks who are tuning in, trying to get on the show. We got sponsors who are asking about how to be on the show. And so we have all the information. We're not ignoring you. We're just overhauling. We're adjusting for growth. So what we're doing with the people who want to get on the show, we've created the first Friday of the month as our business showcase. So we haven't forgotten you. Some of the folks that have reached out, we'll be reaching back out to you to let you know that we will be getting back in touch. And thank you again for putting your comments here on the screen. Lisa, very good comment. Brenda, once again. So let's see here. And Bradley said, you don't toot your own horn, it might not get tooted. Right on there, Bradley, right on. Well, let me go ahead and toot my horn a little bit more here. Let me get a little tooting going on here. And so thank you again for tuning in. Sheldon, he said he'll be reaching out soon. Thanks for the information. Thank you again. We look forward to hearing from you, Sheldon. We're going to continue our segment. Why is everybody so angry? We're talking about war in the workplace. And yes, folks, we got to take care of ourselves. Now, the staff at McDonald's in a New York restaurant, they're mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. They've actually had to, they accused the bosses of giving them face masks made out of dog diapers and coffee filters. Okay. Come on. Well, they settled the dispute. So I guess there must have been a little bit of truth to it. I don't know all of the specifics, but there were lawyers involved. So they accused the bosses of giving them COVID-19 masks made out of dog diapers. I mean, what's the difference in a dog diaper and a baby diaper? I don't know. Does it have a little spot for your tail to come out? I guess air can get in. I guess that's the reason they complain. Because a regular diaper wouldn't have that hole in it. I don't know. Coffee filters, that's not too bad, I guess. But I don't blame them for getting a little angry about it, though. That seems a little, I don't know. Now, McDonald's got other issues, too. You can get Wi-Fi at McDonald's, but unfortunately, you can also get shot in the face. Man, talking about a contrast. Now, I feel for big companies sometimes. Companies like McDonald's and Google and Uber, they're not really creating these problems. We just got folks out here that just done lost their minds. So you got somebody shooting, get shot. You go to the McDonald's, you get your little Happy Meal and your McNuggets and your Big Mac and some fries and a milkshake. Hey, that sounds pretty good. I know where I'm going when I leave here. Oh, no, back to the story. But you go to the McDonald's, next thing you know, you're getting shot in the face. It's the sign of the times, ladies and gentlemen. Why is everybody so angry? We having war out here in the workplace. Some people got in a disagreement in the McDonald's. Somebody started shooting. Next thing you know, somebody went to the McDonald's to get a burger. They come back with a bullet in their face. Woo, my goodness. And also, man, it's rough out here on the highways too. So I want you guys to be careful as you go back and forth today between home and work. That's another reason. It's almost another reason why people want to work from home. And you definitely better not blow your horn out here anymore. Lay off the horns. I've had a problem with that anyway. I always think your horn was not really meant to rush people. It's not meant to vent your displeasure at the move somebody made. It's to prevent an accident. It's okay maybe to just pump your horn and somebody at the light, they're reading their text and they're on Facebook and they forget to look up. Yeah, but don't lay on it. This man, somebody honked at this man, some guy in Washington State. He caught up with the person and threw an axe at the person for honking. What's wrong, people? Come on, people. We can do better than this. For honking? The video is out there. The person jumps out of the car, cuts the person off, jumps out, and he's like Jim Bowie, throws this axe, and it hits the person's windshield. And then you say to yourself, well, help. If I'm out here and people are being mean to me, maybe somebody will come along and save me. Man, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. In Texas, a driver ended up dead because a young lady was in a crash. 3 people came to her rescue. She pulled out a gun and shot the 3 and killed one of them. Now, I need more information on this story because that just seems too bizarre. And if that wasn't bad enough, a bystander who was also armed saw this young lady shooting the Good Samaritans. He pulls out a gun and shoots her. Have this happened in our history before? I mean, I know some weird things that happen over time in history. But have we had a situation where a Good Samaritan pulls over, or 3 Good Samaritans pull over to help somebody who's been in a crash? The person in the crash pulls out a gun and shoots them. And then another person, I guess the Good Samaritan of the Good Samaritans, pulls out a gun and shoots the person who shoots the Good Samaritans. Man, there's a lot to unwrap there. Whew, Lord have mercy. Whew, what's wrong? What's wrong? Wrong. I told you about these. You also have to watch who you let in your house these days, too. Man, in North Carolina, a woman was found dead in the concrete of her house. And she was put there allegedly by somebody she let in the house. She was their caretaker. No, the caretaker was the one who did it. The person was supposed to be taking care of this person. Let me get my story right here. So this lady brought in somebody in her house to take care of her. Well, they find her baked in the concrete. And the caretaker was still living in the house when the police came. They done set up shop. What's wrong, ladies and gentlemen? Stop the world. I want to get off. No. We have to balance this out with good deeds, with sanity. We have to talk to our friends and our family members who are about to go out here and do something crazy. I know it's not you, but everybody got that person in their family that needs a good talking to every now and then. It's, oh yeah, I know that person said something bad about you on Facebook, but you might want to put that gun down. Oh yeah, you're in the car with someone. Don't be the one edging them on. Say, look, that person cut you off. Get out there and give them a piece of your mind. The sane people among us, that's what's going to save us, I'm telling you. Don't be an enabler. I've seen that happen too many times. We get caught up in the moment. We're going to show them. Next thing you know, you're a statistic. I'm here telling your story on the Marketing Pulpit at 10:30, right here on the Marketing Pulpit radio and TV show. So that's why I do this. I'm trying to bring civility back. So this lady, she's in the concrete. And I tell you something else. These landlords, they're fighting back too. Now this story right here is tragic beyond words. In Las Vegas, a landlord shot 3 of his tenants. A 70-year-old dude. Had these 20-year-old, I think most they were young ladies. And they weren't getting out. They weren't paying the rent according to him, and they were refusing to leave. I guess that forgiveness thing that's going on around now, that where you can't kick people out. I think that's an explosive situation that's going to get worse before it gets better. Because I tell you what happens when people think of landlord, when people start talking about these type of situations, the goodness in us, we want to side with the tenant. The poor tenant lost his job due to COVID. They can't go to work. Let's forgive their rent. But all of the landlords are not billionaires. They're mom and pops, just like we are. A lot of them spent their hard-earned money. They spent most of their lives. They finally were able to buy themselves a investment property. They put somebody in it. Now, all of a sudden, they're spending that $2,000 a month to keep that property going, but somebody's in there who's not paying. So I feel sorry for the folks that are in there who can't pay, but we also have to have a little bit of love, I mean, quite a bit of love for the mom and pop real estate investors. These folks aren't rich. They don't have like towers, and they're regular folks. And so this guy, like I said, I don't know the entire situation, but I'm telling you, we're going to see more of this if we don't get a better handle on this eviction process, these landlords, and make sure that money, now, according to the president, the money is there. It just need to be distributed by the states. So folks, be safe out there on these highways and byways. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about branding. Are you the no-name brand? Somebody's got to be the no-name brand, the one nobody heard about. But let me tell you something, folks, that no-name brand, it has a cost. We're going to talk about it when we come back. You definitely don't want to miss this segment. This is branding. Don't be the no-name brand. And this is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, get it grounded. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success.
Rayford Lee Brown Sr. I am the owner and founder of B&B Cleaning Services, LLC. We are a janitorial, floor cleaning, and property maintenance business.
Welcome back to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday, 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, we're saving jobs, and we're trying to save our community. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We have a great listening audience today. Thank you guys for making this show the success that it has become. Appreciate you. Let's talk about branding here for a minute. Now, hold on 1 second. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back in 1 second. Hold on. One of those pivotal aspects of business success, you have to tie it to something, get it grounded. Because marketing is all about psychology. It's understanding human behavior. Success is not a finite. You have control over what constitutes success. All right. This is the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. Go to marketingpulpit.com. You can find out more about the show, find out more about me. Also, go to gatewoodmarketing.com to find out more about our advertising and marketing service. We also develop websites, logos. We engage in branding, anything you need to get a business off the ground. That's what we do. We've been doing it now for over 30 years. And we're also the producer and sponsors of the Marketing Pulpit TV show. I'm Robert Gatewood. I'm the host. I'm also the owner and CEO of Gatewood Marketing and Web. Now, today we're going to talk about branding. I'm going to just start out by saying you have to understand what branding is in order to appreciate it. And also why you don't want to be the no-name brand. Remember the old days they used to sell that stuff, have the food in little white cartons, white label. They call it Brand X. Now, if you're on a budget and that's all you can afford, then of course Brand X worked out just fine. But there are too many people in this country who are brand conscious. And brand conscious simply means that, look, if I ain't heard of it, I'm not going to put my money on it. I don't know you. I mean, you could be, who knows? You could be a skinhead. You could be working out of a sewer. Who knows what? So you want to make sure that your brand represents who you are, your position, your pricing, your company culture, the type of quality of service you provide, how you treat your employees, and all that good stuff. So your brand is more than just your logo. And so when people look at a brand, they've already made some type of decisions. Now, I remember when I first came to the DC area, and this just tell you the power of branding. There was this department store called Nordstrom's. I had never heard of them. But the first thing I heard when I got to town was that you could go to Nordstrom's and they would you could wear your shoes for about a year and you take it back and they'll give you another pair. Like, that's my kind of company. I mean, I'm looking at my shoes as I was speaking. Now, of course, I'm not going to go out here and wear a pair of shoes for a year. I hadn't planned to. And then try to take it back to the store. And most people won't. But think about the impression that leaves on you. You know, well, shoot, I might just want to wear it for a week. I may just wear it a month. And I may decide that it hitting that corn on my toe that I didn't know it was going to hit it when I first got the shoe. So I want to take this thing back and get me some new. And then he said, what if they do it for my shoes? They probably do it for a shirt, a dress, a hat. And it's probably some type of culture at this company that allows you to have such faith in the customers. That, to me, was a quick lesson on branding. And I spent most of my life, really, believe it or not, thank you, Nordstrom. I wanted to be the Nordstrom's of the marketing business. I want people to feel like when they go to this company, they're going to get the best service. We're not going to hackle over pennies and dimes. We're more concerned about building lifetime value and having you tell your friends and tell these type of stories of how good we are and how we made your life easy and how we didn't beat you down on price. That's the reputation I want folks going out there doing after that little experience, that knowledge I had of Nordstrom's. That's what branding's about. Now, what their logo is like, I can't even remember what their logo looks like. But I remember that story about that they were customer conscious. So what you want to do is to make sure that you're not the no-name brand, because people don't know what you're about if you don't have a brand. That's true. They don't know what you represent. Let me tell you something, folks. Good service is good, but good service is not good enough. I repeat, good service is nice, but good service is not enough. You can have the best service in the world, but if your brand sucks, it's all for naught. Because they're not going to trust you. They don't know you. They're going to go to somewhere where they understand how the company works and what they stand for and what their service reputation is. You've got to develop that, and it has to become part of your brand. And as Mr. Brother Maxwell said, branding is not just your logo or your website or your marketing material. It's what you project to the world, the message you send out. And those material items such as logos and websites and brochures and things, that's just the iconic representation of that brand. Thank you, Brother Maxwell, for making that point. So by being this no-name brand, it's not just the no name, but it also carries some other connotations. No identity, no reputation, no customer loyalty, no quality, no value, no second chances, no longevity. Let me tell you another little secret, folks. Did you know when you have a strong brand, people are more forgiving, they're more patient. if you're that company that nobody ever heard of, you make one mistake, Jack, they're ready to throw you under the bus and bag you over twice. Yeah, that's the truth. I know sometimes we read more things to it. We thinking, well, this person had an attitude. This person had a preference of one race or one ethnic group or one geographic location over another. No, what people have a preference for is a brand that they can trust. So before you start writing off these reasons that people won't do business with you, take a look at your brand. Now, here's something you may or may not know, but I want you to know before I leave here today. Your brand generates a perceived value. And it is no joke. It is proven. It is a fact that people will spend more money for a popular brand than a product they've never heard of, even though it's the exact same product. Something to think about. And the minute I discovered that, man, let me tell you, that was like a light bulb went off. I started raising my price the next day. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise my price and I'm going to invest money in branding. Because the brand, once you get the customer, there's something called lifetime value. So you can't just focus on that one customer. So if you spend your money elevating your brand, you're going to bring in more customers, you can raise the price, and then let that lifetime value kick in. People will pay more money for a more popular brand than an unpopular one. Here's something else. People will buy a popular brand more frequently than an unpopular brand. Think about that for a minute. When the brand is strong, you just keep buying it. You buy it. All they got to do is slap a label on it. They'll buy whatever you sell it. That's what I tell some of my clients. I say, look, our issue right now is not what you think it is. Our issue is we need to get some more products out here because we have built this strong brand and people are looking for something to buy that you offer. I have an author right now. People are just clamoring to find his next book. It doesn't have to be a book. If he put out a 2-page white paper tomorrow, they'd buy every one he could write as fast as he could write it. So when that brand is built and it's strong, one of your jobs at that point is to keep finding products that you can slap that brand on. Folks in the clothing industry, they do this. They're very popular. They're notorious for this. People see a brand as a safe choice. And in a world of safety, in a world of, we talked about the 5 reasons people buy. Safety and security. That's right up there on number 1 and number 2. Your brand is seen as a safe choice when it is strong. And the opposite is also true. If I don't know you, haven't heard from you, don't know about you, or you got a bad brand, I do not see you as safe and you're not going to get my money. Think about that. As I stated earlier, people are more patient if your brand is strong. They give you all kind of chances. And I know sometimes we like to write that up as something else. It's the brand. They're like, man, every time I turn around, I make one mistake and they done run off to somebody else complaining. It wasn't them, it was you. They jacked up brand. Get your brand straight. Invest in your brand. They will give you that second chance because they see you as a safe choice. When you're not seen as a safe choice, you got one time to mess up. And then, man, they're running off to the Better Business Bureau, telling their friends not to do business with you because you had a weak brand. We're making this a lot more complicated. Sometimes we're looking for all these reasons that people scatter. Weak brand. Now, let's talk about what a brand does for you. One thing, it delivers your message clearly. It confirms your credibility in the marketplace. It emotionally connects with your audience. It motivates people to make that buying decision. And it creates user loyalty. Now that's one you cannot overemphasize. Man, let me tell you something. I discovered some of these things just by doing, but now they have been indoctrinated into my marketing secret sauces. That strong brand, man, you can sell something to people as long as they alive. If your brand is strong. If you have a weak brand, they're going to buy from you one time, then they're going to go back out there and start shopping the next time they need it. Let me repeat that. If your brand is weak, they will buy from you one time and they feel no connection or loyalty to you. The next time they need it or they run out of it, they're back out there in the marketplace looking again because you didn't have that branding foundation. So how do you get this brand? I'm sure some of you wondering, what the heck? Gatewood, you got me all buttered up here. Well, we're going to start with some of the things we talked about. Think about, go back to your company culture. What is it that you represent? When I do my 10 commandments of marketing, the first thing I say, before we talk about any type of sales, you have to decide what kind of customer you're going to be, what kind of client you're going to, what kind of company you're going to be. You're going to be a friendly company, high-tech company, low-tech, price, worry about the environment, eco-friendly. These things become part of your brand. Do you treat your employees fairly? Part of your brand could be that you pay the best salaries in town. That goes a long way. How you treat your employees. You may have the best customer service department, like we talked about with Nordstrom's. That becomes part of your brand. So the part of your brand starts before you start creating logos and websites, and literature. The brand starts with you, the business owner. What kind of company are you? Just to throw up a logo and you haven't established what type of company you are, you kind of putting the horse before the cart or the cart before the horse, whichever way it works. So the first thing starts with you. Then here's some things that you can do that are tangible. Get yourself a logo. And then I'll tell you something else you do. You put that logo on everything. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't do that. Uh-oh, what's that over there? Never mind. Yes, I do. When you see this, I want you to think about a company and a guy that talks about building businesses and putting people to work, talk about the good marketing gospel, bring you all this information every Friday. That brand is out there, Jack. And I hope it's all good. Well, I must say, it is pretty good. I mean, I get people calling me all the time. And I must say, don't start today now. I never had one negative call about what I'm doing with this particular Marketing Pulpit TV show. They might talk about me behind my back, but I feel the brand is pretty strong because one, we do have a culture. We're friendly, approachable, knowledgeable, professional, informed. And this logo is the iconic representation of that. Okay? You might, now if you have one of those names that's just, I hate to say it, some of your names are a little out there. It doesn't say anything about what you do. You name it after Grandma Lizzie and it doesn't tell people that you do window dressing. Lizzie's company. What the hell? Well, you better get you a nice little slogan or something to go along with it. You need to explain that company, and that becomes part of your brand as well. Like we say, building strong businesses in our community, putting people to work. So you want to kind of let your slogan kind of help you along with that brand too, because some people, like I say, they're either visually conscious or they're readers. They like to intellectualize words that they see. Now you want to integrate your brand into every aspect of your business. And when I say brand, I don't say just your logo, your culture, how you treat your customers. So you got to call that meeting. I try to have a meeting with my staff at least once a week. I know they're like, oh boy, here he comes again. And they're like, then when they get there, they're surprised because I didn't load them up for a ton of work or criticize their work. Now, let's emphasize now. We're going to treat people right. I know some of these customers can really get on your last nerve. I'll be the first one to admit it. There's a couple I just want to put in a headlock. No, I wouldn't do that. But sometimes your brain be going there though. But as a company, that's not going to help our brand. They can say, look, Gatewood put this customer in a headlock. That becomes part of your brand. But what my brand has emanated is that we're patient. I mean, really almost to a fault. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were telling me, look, man, you guys are too nice. You're being taken advantage of. I said, look, we've been around 30 years. I know a lot of companies that didn't make 30 days. So we're doing something right. So you got to do what works for you, okay? That becomes part of your brand. So you need a company persona. And sometimes it starts with that owner. It goes back to that purpose. That's the place to start. What is your purpose? Is it to save the world? Save the environment? Put people to work? It can't be just about making money. Because there are times that money is not there. So your brand can't dry up just because you had a bad month. Brand it has to be enduring. So develop that persona, and then you build things around that persona. You also look at things like your colors, like red and black. Those are like creative colors. They speak for creativity. Yellow, vibrant. You know, every time you see something with a kid, pertaining to kids, it's yellow. Those 3 primary colors: blue, yellow, red. That's a branding. That's branding at work. You ever notice that a lot of law firms have blue, gray, and black? That's like seriousness. So there are a lot of little things you can do to help project this brand. That's why you need to talk to somebody who knows how this stuff works. And create brand standards for your marketing materials. The colors, the fonts. So when you see that, sometimes it's just that color that stands out. Sometimes that color alone. You ever see a big old brown truck going down the road? The way they're treating these drivers nowadays, you might want to rethink that color of that truck, because they're going to assume you're a delivery driver for UPS. You got a big old brown box truck. Branding, ladies and gentlemen. Branding. Now, you also have to deliver your brand. The worst thing you can do is to build this brand and then not deliver. Because when you develop a brand, you are making a promise to your customers, a charge to keep. You have to deliver on that brand. I can't get up here on this airwaves and talk about how nice we are. The next person called me, I had one of my employees curse the person out. That's a no-no. That's how you kill your brand. So you got to be consistent. Deliver on that brand promise. If your brand says you're going to be a low price product in the marketplace, you have to deliver on that. If you say that your brand is eco-friendly, you can't be walking around there also with foam plastic cups. That's running counter to your brand. You making a promise to your stakeholders with that brand. And you have to deliver on it. Now, if you have some questions, as Mr. Maxwell said, there is some science behind these colors, and that is so true. Now, if you have a question about anything we talked about today, if you need some help with your branding, your marketing, logo design, website design, we are not the cheapest person in town, but it's all relative. For one thing, you're going to get your money's worth plus. And you won't have to keep jumping around. You know, this is what happens. People come to me. It kind of ticks me off a little bit, but part of my brand, I don't get ticked off. But I don't articulate it anyway. People come to me. They've been to like 5 different companies. And then by the time they get to me, they broke. Well, look, Gatewood, I can't really pay you what I know you're worth because I paid this other company and they ran off with my money. Or they didn't know what they were doing. Now, unfortunately, you come to the right company because a lot of times I would take that in consideration. That might be a con as far as I'm concerned, but that seems like there'll be a pretty good percentage of the clients that come to us And we go ahead and say, okay, look, all right, look, I understand, because I know that if you hadn't seen this lesson on branding, or if you're not properly branding, that could very well happen. But now you've come to a company that's going to make it right for you. So yeah, I will, because I made some mistakes of my own when I was just getting started, like starting that payphone business. If I had known a Robert Gatewood, Jack, I'm telling you, I'd have $20,000 in my pocket right now, because nobody told me about the industry life cycles. So I can't go to the next person and give them $20,000 also, because I'm broke now. So yeah, I will give you a forgiveness discount if you call Gatewood. I'm telling you that right now, because I understand how it works. But once you come to me, you got to listen. Do I know everything? Nope. But I do know this. Everything I ask you to do, every piece of advice I give you, is most likely has been tested. I'm not going to waste your money. I treat your money like it's mine, and I'm going to take care of mine. All right, folks. This is we even break out the violin. All right, folks. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Gerald and William and Brenda and Lisa and Bradley and Sheldon and Emmanuel and a few other folks that are on the different platforms. Hello to everybody on LinkedIn. Hello to everybody on Facebook. Hello to everybody on Twitter. Everybody on Instagram. Everybody on YouTube. Thank you again for tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit TV show. And thank you to our sponsor, BLE Executive Suites. Now, they have a strong brand too, and they deliver. They have their 3 locations, one here in Largo, Maryland, one over in National Harbor, and they have one in College Park. And I strongly recommend, if you're kind of stuck, not sure how to get this business off the ground, you might need a phone number. You might need a mailbox. You may have graduated. You're tired of working from home. The kids running all over the place and knocking stuff, toys. You're stepping on jack rocks and can't get your work done. You might look at one of their office spaces, one of their private suites, or you can just rent the spaces you need them. You may just set up so that you come to the space on the day you have your meetings. I've talked to several clients who say, look, I need a nice place to meet, but I'm not ready to make that commitment to a long lease. So I tell them to look, call BLE and tell them, say, look, I want to continue working from home. Can you answer my phones or answer the overflow? But I'm going to set up my meeting days. I might set up like a Tuesday. I'm going to set up all my meetings. So you might rent that office for just Tuesday, one day a month or one day a week. Set up all your meetings. You have that look, that professional feeling. The client comes in, they take you to these nice, elaborate, luxurious conference room with the big Zoom screens and coffee for the people that show up. Man, you're going to look like a star. And that's why BLE has grown now. They're one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing business service in the DC area. So call them, and if you call them today, just say Gatewood told you to call, and you tell them Gatewood say give you a free rent or free month of whatever service you offer you want. And if they give you a hard time about it, you're on your own. No, I'm just kidding. No, just tell them to call me. This is the Marketing Pulpit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for tuning in today. We'll be back next week at the same time. And as I say after every show, if you want to be successful, you have to do these 3 things. Do the right thing. Do it at the right time. And you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work. People don't understand marketing. You can't stop every time the money runs out. You need to come on and tell people why your service is different. Why is everybody so angry? Airline passengers biting the TSA agents. I mean, it reminds me of one of those zombie apocalyptic movies. And as a community, collectively, we're going to be taken more seriously if we have that strong economic foundation. Do the right thing. Do it at the right time. And you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.